Hi, I come to you with a very special announcement before we get into the video. Um, this is actually going to be a two book video instead of a one book video like planned because I enjoyed myself that much. So I had to go read the first one. Um, so, Tender Hearts Review, if you don't want to hear me yap about it, is here. And then Shots Taken is going to be here. Have fun. Hi, friends. Um, we have another arc. All you do is arcs. Listen, actual book reviews will be coming eventually, okay? Eventually. Let me get through my overwork first, and we'll get there. Um, but this video is going to be about Tender Heart by Kate Byrne. Fun fact, I think I tried like 3 or 4 times to look this book up on Goodreads and Fable, because those are the two places that I like post my actual reviews. Couldn't find it. Amazon had it. Goodreads didn't know of her. Fable could have been a speck of dust. And then, like, I think yesterday I found it and I immediately went, I'm adding that to my reds. She will not slip away from me. So here we are. Um, Tender Heart is actually the second in this series. And I didn't know that. And if I did know that, yeah. So the first one is about a coach's daughter, from what I could gather. I will, depending on how I like this book, I may go back and read the first one just to kind of be like concise. I think they're supposed to be standalones too. Like it's an interconnected series that you can read them by themselves and be fine. But my thing is if an author has multiple books, I want to give them a chance before completely knocking them out. And I'm saying that now so I hold myself accountable. So that way I'm not like trying to push through an author because it's popular. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anywho, back to this. So, Tender Heart is the second one. Listen, we have a little bit of discrepancy with the page count because the arc I have is 297. Amazon had it listed at 307. So somewhere we have 10 pages. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. So take that with a grain of salt. This has 30 chapters and it comes out April 2nd. If I happen to post this before April 2nd, that's cool. The due date, however, was April 9th. So I had some time. I'm not past due. I have not been past due on any of my reviews yet. Thank God. Let's keep it up, OG. So you may be seeing this after the review or after the publication date. And if that is the case, happy publication day. I hope this goes well. And if it's before or on it, well, if it's before it, I really hope that publication day goes really well. So with that being said, she has content warnings. Please consider your mental health and personal well-being before you choose to read. And she puts it in bold, before. So we're going to have explicit sexual content, including discussions of consent and birth control methods, as well as the acts themselves. It's a hockey romance. I don't know if we expected any different, but I love that it's a content warning. Um, Emotionally distant parents. We're going to skip that husband. Um, Unplanned pregnancies in the past, parental abandonment in the past, a sports injury and health crisis. Injury and recovery happens on page, including but not limited to treatment interventions by first responders, hospitals, doctors, and rehabilitation. So if you are a person that genuinely does not like the hospital, I probably would skip. And discussions of and participation in therapy. It's discussion of trauma and focus on it. PTSD, panic attacks on page, exposure therapies, and nightmares on page. Oh dear God. I'm gonna say a little prayer to my feelings because I feel like I'm about to go on a little roller coaster. So there's that. Oh. So remember how I said this was a series? I think that's our lineup. Because somewhere I read that it was about the starting lineup. One of these bitches is out. Another one I'm reading. I don't remember. Let me see. Do I have a description anywhere? Nope. It's a fine. It's fine. The first goddamn line. The first goddamn line, Kate. I was so ready to end that intro. I turned the page. I love Dick, but I really fucking hate Vince sometimes. And if that does not describe half the female race, I don't know what does. You caught me. You ensnared me. You're about to eat me up. Oh, okay. You've got. I thought that first sentence had me hooked. I thought the prologue had me hooked. The way you are describing this man. First of all, we have goalie love. Yes. Anyway, we have goalie love. Um, his daughter is a cutie patootie. Well, what else is there to say? So yes, if anybody got a good look at the little, and I might repost it, we're specifically talking about number 28, the goalie man. So 7%. I'm digging it so far. I might have to go get me the first one. We'll see. We'll see. It's too early to be saying that. Okay, Kate. You and me have got to have a talk. I am on, once it loads, 52%. You had me reading like an animal on my lunch. And no, that's not a gripe. I'm just over dramatic. I thought we knew this. I have notes. First of all, and I say this both with my chest and as lovingly as possible. Fuck. You made him not only off limits, but also forced proximity. And again, I want it to be known that when I sign up for these things, my brain does not remember what I have A, signed up for, and B, what the tropes are. So essentially, I'm going into these blind. I love going into these blind. I never know what I'm gonna get. Um, Frothing at the gates of my enclosure, ma'am. Um, the boys' group chat is the rubber puckies, and there's not enough words in the dictionary that will describe how much I love that. I read that and I went, you know what? I um and then I put so I'm gathering that the first book is about the captain and Violet because she keeps calling him Crosby. And so for some reason I keep thinking that's his last name. It's not, it's his first name. His last name's Wells. Whoopsie daisy. So that I'm probably also going to read because she keeps describing the situations. And so there's that. The first time I'm sorry, but the first time you have him flirting in Russian, I almost threw my Kindle. Almost. I don't even know if it's a spoiler. But when they change their names for each other in their phones, I'm dead. Because he's calling her something cute in Russian, and she's over here calling him Russian daddy. I cannot. It's loving, it's cute, but also that's what he is. He's a Russian daddy. And the note that I have, Nikita, the man that you are. That's it. That's the post. Nikita, the man that you are. $52%, my friends. So if this video is a little bit longer, it's because I have both books in my possession. Yeah. This is the face of somebody who read Tenderheart and finished it yesterday. I literally finished this book at like 11:20. And by the way, today, as I'm recording this, is April 2nd, which means it's release day. So happy release day. I literally finished it last night at 11:20 and I just stared at the dark, contemplating my life. This is going to sound so out of context, but I promise you, if you read it, you understand. At one point, Nikita goes, I don't see the world in color. I see it in black and white. I swooned. Legitimately swooned. And I was talking about because I sent a clip of my you had me reading this like a dog. I sent it to some of my friends and they were like so what kind of I said it was like like I was reading it like an animal and they were like, so what animal? And we have discovered that it was a honey badger, which is fitting because I'm a Hufflepuff. Anyway, um for my Spice Girlies, the pants saw some action too. And I'm phrasing it like that because I don't know where my lines are and I don't want to cross them. So his pants saw action. If you know, you know. Um, the phone call. It really wasn't that big of a deal until Katie had Natalia, Katie had, but B was on the phone and she could hear Natalia in the background, and Natalia like made that that broke B, but that made me feel some type of way because that was so sweet. Like, I can't. Um, I also found the 10 missing pages. They're in the released version. It was an epilogue. If anybody remembers where I was like, I don't know where those last 10 pages are, that's where they're at. It was a missing epilogue. Um, so I haven't read the epilogue yet, but I probably will here in a minute. The review, this was a 4.5 for me. Like, I loved it. It was really good. I mentioned this in a different video. I'm trying to save my 5 stars for the books that like I feel some type of way about. So, and not, this is not like a shade to anybody. This is just how I'm trying to make sense of it in my head. Still can't make sense of it, but I'm gonna try. Will I be recommending this book? Absolutely. Did I love this book? Absolutely. But for some reason, I don't want to give every book 5 stars. I think is my problem, because I know how like much of a big deal that is. So, but sitting comfortably at 4.5, I'm cool with. Because you gave us a quiet wall of a man who learned that it's okay to take care of himself. And then you gave us a woman who doesn't know a family who learns the meaning of it. And in those 297 pages, it feels kind of like it was rushed, but it wasn't, because Kate, you did a really good job of putting in like, okay, in the time that this has happened, this is not all in like 2 months. This is a span of a whole season. And I loved that. So there's a lot of big emotions on the page, but she did beautifully in tying it all together. Will I be reading the first book? Yes. Yes, I will. In fact, I'm going to go do that right now. Update. I just read, I forgot that Tenderheart had an epilogue come out the day of release. So I just read that. Kate, you almost made me cry. That was so sweet.
married. It, granted, I understand the reasons, and I love the reasons, and I love that it happened. I wasn't expecting it though. But now I really think that the third one is going to be Charlie and Maeve. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to cry. Not really. Um, but yeah, because I was going through my Kindle app for quotes and I remembered, and so I just read it. Now I'm going to go cry about a fictional man and his wife and his daughter. God help me.
Okay. So we are starting Shots Taken today. Um and I think I may have talked about it a little bit before. Um like when I was first talking about Tenderheart. I don't know, to be completely honest. This Shots Taken has 38 chapters and it is dual POV. Thank God. I wasn't expecting it not to be, but like it does have an epilogue. And let's see. I've got about, why is it giving me locations? Hello? Okay. I guess Amazon does not want to give me pages. How rude. Um we've got, so not back to the content warnings for Tenderheart. It's kind of the same thing. Obviously we have sexual content. Um but there is a death of a parent in the past, unplanned pregnancy, parental abandonment, minor injuries, power dynamic abuse between employer and employee. None of it was physical though. And yeah. So it's good that she still gave us content warnings. Again, I don't know what I was expecting because I read the second book before I read the first one, but I digress. um we still have the lineup. But now that I know that we have 10 and 28 done, I wonder who's going to be next. I don't know. 2 gave me a whole lot of like Charlie vibes. I don't remember what his last name was or his number. I'm going to be quite frank. So, but oh, now we have page numbers. Hang on. 332. We have 332 pages in this book. So, and this is after Tenderheart has fully released, and I probably have already mentioned that, and I'm just rambling at this point, but like, I'm sincerely, from the reviews that I read on Shots Taken, this might also be a good read. um, so I'm excited, and I'm excited to see where the story goes. So, without further ado, okay, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about how I started reading this book on April 5th. And today is April 14th. And I just now finished it. I don't want to hear it. This is not, that's not a reflection on anybody but myself. Because I started like 4 different books on the same day. And in my head, I was like, I'm not arc reviewing shots taken. So I'm not gonna, like, that's the least on my priorities. Which has allowed us to hear. So, um, I literally have wrote 4 things down for this book. Listen, okay, when I said I wanted to review both books, it didn't cross my mind that I was going to have to do videos for all the other books too at the same time. So, anyway, so for the 4 things that I wrote down, I said, okay, first of all, I don't know what Fuckboy did, but we're glad he's gone and Vi's coming home. That's the first thing that I put down. And now that I know what Fuckboy did, I still 100% back that decision. Go Vi. Um, the second thing I wrote down was literally, but also Crosby, come scoop up your girl, teehee. I think I wrote that at the beginning when he tried to hit on her without realizing, like, hey, I have to work with this lady. There were a whole lot of intricacies in their relationship that I think worked out amazingly. Because first, you have a girl coming off of a breakup that kind of like almost ruined her. And then she's his coach's daughter. And then they work in the same building together. Um, Albeit in different departments, but like you still work for the same franchise. Um, I lost my train of thought there. Hello. But I think the way that Kate kind of went about this, I really liked. Because from the get go, Violet was like, I'm not dating another hockey player. Y'all can go fuck yourselves. Respectfully. Get away from me. But then here comes Crosby, sweeping past all of her defenses without raising a finger. Although, if somebody else had called me by a nickname that only one other person gets away with, I'd have decked him. Maybe not literally, but like. She was like, only one person gets away with calling me by that name, and that is Obadiah. Everybody else calls me Vi. And then Crosby immediately using it. I giggled. I was like, oh, well, somebody's about to. But that didn't happen. My next note, literally, my next note is I have had zero thoughts for the first 16% of this book other than, ooh, spooky ghost story. And I say that because at one point, Obi is telling the guys how they came up with their name and their crowd chant, because their crowd chant is Midnight Rise, right? So Obi's telling the guys all about it because he's from New Haven. And it's this ghost story that none of the other guys had heard before. And it's actually like a really interesting ghost story, too. Um, so I literally, in the dead of night, because it was like midnight when I read that passage, I was like, "Ooh, spooky ghost story," and then promptly went to bed. Listen, um, so that happened. And then my last note, um, for context, they were in Vegas for All Star Weekend, um, and lo and behold, people that fucked over Violet were there, and the guys were like contemplating like how to go about it. Most of it was instigation. And again, I'm mentioning this only because it's still like calling their group chat the rubber puckies. I still giggle every time I read it. Um, but the rubber puckies group chat was just constantly going off, and their captain at the time, which is Henry Texier, otherwise known as Tex, um, he was not prominent in the second book. He was very prominent in the first book because that was like Crosby's mentor almost. Um, I don't even think that's it almost. I think he was his mentor. But I digress. Tex still captain, and um, Crosby's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" Somebody mentioned murder, and then Tex goes, "Easy now. Murder isn't on the list of things I'll bail you out of jail for." For some reason, that sent me. Yeah, petty theft, I'll bail you out. Self defense, I'll bail you out. Murder. I don't know why that makes me giggle. But no, I gave this book a 4.5 out of 5. I didn't have any, I didn't necessarily have any negative thoughts. There was a couple of spicy scenes in there, Kate. I'm not gonna lie. I read them and I went, oh, that's one way to do it. If anybody's asking, it's probably like a 4.5 ish, maybe. And I can stick with that. 4.5. On the pepper scale. But yeah, that's I recorded absolutely nothing between April 5th and today. So these are all of my thoughts on a 300-page book. Um, but yeah, now I can finally post this video and stop giving you guys blue balls. Because I keep being like, I need to post this video, but now I can't because I was waiting to finish this book. Will I be reviewing series like that again? Maybe. Maybe. I think I'm gonna try with 2 series that I have right now. I haven't done it for a couple of the other series that I would start in the middle of, but I'm going to try to be better at doing like a series all in one. But we'll see. Anywho's, I will see you guys in the next one.